Good afternoon, scholars. I hope you had a great fall break. This is a quick and hopefully fun homework assignment in which we are going to review what we covered prior to fall break in the Hunger Games and use it to cover again chronological order and cause and effect from class today. Monday. Let's review the characters from District 12. Our protagonist is Katniss. Katniss Everdeen is 16 years old and is the main character. She volunteered as a tribute because her sister Prim was chosen. She likes to hunt to gather food for her family, and she also gathers berries and nuts and plants to feed her family. Next, we have Primrose Everdeen, the younger sister of Katniss. Prim is 12 years old and was chosen as a tribute at the reaping. She is a very sweet, caring, and innocent young girl. Then we have the mother of Katniss and Prim. After her husband died in a mine explosion, she became very depressed. She is from the merchant class, and she once ran an apothecary shop. Look closely now at the red print about each character. Then look at the three key words in the bottom left corner: first, next, and finally. Put each of these sets of words in chronological order in proper and complete sentences using the three key words: first, next, and finally. So you will have three sentences. The first one will begin with first, comma, and a sentence about what happened first from one of the red writings. Your next sentence will say next, and we'll finish out with one of the red writings, adjusted as needed to make a complete sentence. Your last sentence will say finally, comma, and we'll have another of the red writings adjusted again to make a proper and complete sentence. We also met Gale. Gale is 18 years old and is the best friend and hunting partner of Katniss. Gale's father was also killed in the mine explosion that killed Katniss's father. We met Peeta. Peeta is 16 years old and was the male chosen at the reaping. He is also the baker's son, and at one time he burnt the bread on purpose to give it to Katniss because she was starving. Finally, for this slide, we met Haymitch. Haymitch is the mentor or trainer for Katniss and Peeta. He is the only living victor of the Hunger Games from District 12. He is also drunk most of the time. He was even drunk on the train as they traveled to the capital. For this slide, you will also write three sentences putting the three red passages in chronological order. Make sure if it refers to a character with a pronoun that you name the character. Sentence number one will say we first learned that. Sentence number two will say we later saw that. Sentence number three will say finally we were told that. So use those sentence stems and put the three events in chronological order. Additionally, we have met Effie. Effie is the District 12 escort from the Capitol. She wears a pink wig. She is the one who draws the names at the reaping. She then looks over Katniss and Peeta until the games begin. We met Cinna. Cinna is Katniss's stylist. His appearance is normal, unlike most of the stylists, but he does have gold eyeliner. It is his first year to serve as a stylist for the games, and he has District 12 because he asked for District 12. He designed the fire costumes, and he nicknamed her Katniss, the girl who was on fire, after designing them. Finally, we met Portia. Portia is Peeta's stylist, and she helped create the fire costumes. For this slide, let's also put the actions of the characters in chronological order. Your first sentence should say, we initially met blank, who blank. Fill in the blanks, of course. Number two sentence should say, we then met blank, who helped blank. Fill in the blanks again. Number three, finally, we met blank, who named blank. You have some hints in the box to help you get it in correct order. Make sure you finish it out in 3 proper and complete sentences. Tuesday. As we read and studied the Hunger Games, we have learned a good bit about the history of Panem, which is the country in which they live. Panem was once known as North America. It is the land which we currently know as Canada, the United States of America, and Mexico. Panem has suffered many natural disasters in its past, including droughts, fires, and storms. There was a brutal war which resulted in the capital city with 13 surrounding districts. However, then came the dark days, which President Snow refers to as the uprising against the capital. During that uprising, 12 districts were defeated, and the 13th district was obliterated. In other words, it no longer exists. As a result, the Treaty of Treason was written. It consisted of new laws to guarantee peace in Panem. Through the Treaty of Treason, the Hunger Games were established. The Hunger Games serve as a yearly reminder that the dark days must never be repeated. Each year, 24 tributes are chosen, 1 boy and 1 girl from each district. Then the 24 competitors must fight to the death until only 1 person remains. The people are required to treat this as a festivity or sporting event. Prizes go to the winning district, such as food. Using the information that we just reviewed, let's practice the concept of cause and effect. There are 4 questions here related to the information on the history of Panem. They become gradually more difficult as they progress from 1 to 4. Answer each question using proper and complete sentences and using the techniques we have learned in the past. Remember that a complete sentence starts with a capital letter, ends with a period in most cases, and expresses a complete thought. Wednesday. One of the pivotal events thus far in the Hunger Games has been the reaping. During the reaping, 1 boy and 1 girl are chosen as tributes. The reaping is broadcast live across all of Panem. Attendance at the reaping is mandatory. Katniss has had her name entered 20 times. Gale has had his name entered 42 times. Prim, however, has only had her name entered once. Against all odds, Prim was chosen, but Katniss then volunteered to take her place as tribute. Peeta was chosen as the boy tribute. Katniss was not happy that Peeta was chosen. Today we're going to use the race technique to answer a couple of questions about what we just read. Let's do a quick review of the race technique. R means to restate the question. For example, if the question is, who is the president? You begin your answer by saying, the president is. A stands for answer the question. This is where you finish out the sentence you just began. For example, we would finish that one out by saying, the president is Fernando Jones. C stands for cite textual evidence. We assume that we've been reading a text about Fernando Jones, and we would begin with, according to the text, and then we would put our textual evidence word for word with quotations around it. Here's my example. According to the text, Fernando Jones was elected in 2011 and has served faithfully since that time. Then E is explain your answer. We simply finish out the paragraph with 1 sentence that sums it all up. Here's my example. This makes it clear that Mr. Jones is a true servant to the members of the club. On your assignment sheet, answer these 2 questions about what we have reviewed today using the race technique. So remember, based on the example I just gave, your answer should be at least 3 proper and complete sentences. I've placed the example at the top of the screen for your convenience. And there is a text from what we summarized to the side. Question number 1 says this: when Effie asked the residents of District 12 to applaud Katniss for volunteering, how did they respond? Question number 2 asks this: how did the people of District 12 feel about Katniss as she stood on the stage? Thursday. Today, let's review the opening ceremonies. We learned that appearances are very important in the Capitol, so the tributes have to have a complete makeover upon arrival. The prep team consists of Vinia, Octavia, and Flavius, and we discussed the significance of those being Greek names and the fact that Suzanne Collins, the author, was a big fan of Greek mythology. The stylists in the Capitol plan complementary costumes. That means they complement the industry of the district for the opening ceremonies. The costumes are supposed to represent the district's industry. And so Peeta and Katniss are disguised as something having to do with coal. And of course, coal is used to light fires, and so she was the girl on fire. Portia and Cinna want their costumes to be unforgettable. Then Cinna tells them to hold hands as they're in the parade of tributes. It works very well, and their appearance at the opening ceremony makes all of the other tributes jealous. In fact, they steal the attention quite successfully. For today's assignment, you are a journalist. A journalist is a reporter who writes about current events, and you are stationed at the Capitol reporting on the opening ceremonies. Write an editorial about what you think will be the effect of the opening ceremonies, where Katniss and Peeta have stolen the show. An editorial is an opinion article. Now, your editorial will consist of 5 proper and complete sentences, or 1 paragraph. Begin your editorial with an introduction sentence in which you simply say that you expect some major events to take place because of this events. Then, name 3 events that you predict will take place and place those events in chronological order using complete sentences. I've given you an example here on the screen. It might go something like this. First, we will likely see, and then finish it out. Next, we could witness, and then finish it out. Finally, blank may take place. Yours does not have to be worded like that. That's just an example of how you might do it. Remember, chronological order is the order in which things take place. Then finish with a concluding sentence in which you simply restate your first sentence using different words. The final product should be a paragraph, and it should be indented with 5 proper and complete sentences. Your entire project should be submitted on Friday, and it will count as a test grade. Remember that in my class, test grades count as 300 instead of 100. In other words, they are the equivalent of 3 homework or classwork assignments. We need to submit work on time this quarter, and for late submissions of this, 3 points per school day will be deducted. So please submit it on time when you come into class on Friday. Remember that since this is not due until Friday, you can work at your own pace. I've divided it into 4 separate nightly homework assignments, but you have the leisure of doing it whenever you prefer. If you would like to do it all on Monday night, you can do that, or you can do it as it's designed. Just make sure the entire product is submitted as close to perfect as possible on Friday. Good luck, and I look forward to reading your submissions.